Hello and welcome to this Azure App Service application monitoring demo. Today we'll be working on monitoring a JBOSS EAP application in App Service. As a Java developer working on a JBOSS EAP app, after migrating your app to App Service, you'll need to monitor the performance of your application from every stage of development through testing and into production. Any tool or platform of your choice can be used, but today we'll be focusing on Azure Monitor, Log Analytics, and App Insights to monitor, identify, and troubleshoot issues with an application running on App Service. Azure Monitor lets us create and respond to alerts on availability, performance, and errors for seamless end-to-end monitoring and application troubleshooting when needed. By aggregating all this end-to-end data into Azure Monitor dashboards, you can visualize the performance of your app in real time. So now let's take a look at what my screen's doing. This is a quick look at the application itself. We have the JBOSS EAP Cool Store made using Jakarta EE and JBOSS EAP, hosted with Azure App Service. Now this is just meant to model a standard business application with authentication and with basic database access. A quick note on the environment that this app is hosted on. This was created using Landing Zone Accelerator. It allows for some seamless creation of our app service and all the other accompanying resources that we need. So before we look at the portal, the log stream can actually be accessed directly from the CLI, the Azure CLI. If we need to perform a quick test or inspect some current logs, the CLI is a great place to start. This lets the developers focus directly on the JBOSS EAP app itself. For example, monitoring the log stream following a migration, potentially of an on-prem app to app service. This can help the developer ensure that everything's functioning properly behind the scenes, uncovering issues that might not be visible in the UI. So, to inspect the log stream of our application, the command is azwebapp-logtail. Now, you do need to specify your resource group and your application name, and running this command allows us to view and inspect real-time log stream and real-time logs from our application. So if we were to go and generate some sort of an error, like a 404 or some sort of bad thing that happens, this will log it straight to the console for the developer to see and work on. So let's move on to Azure Monitor. Azure Monitor is a comprehensive monitoring solution for collecting, analyzing, and responding to monitoring data from your cloud and on-prem environments. It offers a number of different tools to help you understand how your apps are performing, any issues they may be having, and allows you to manually or automatically respond to events needing attention that could potentially impact the availability of your application. So now let's look at Log Analytics. And to get to Log Analytics, we can go straight to our app service and scroll down to Monitoring and Logs. So here we can write things called log queries. Log queries allow us to retrieve sets of records, perform complex statistical analysis, and even create visualizations of log trends, all right here in this log query page. A basic log query may look something like this. We could say something like app service console logs, where log level is error. And if we run this, it'll tell us if we've had any errors in the past 24 hours. Looks like we don't have any error level logs, which is great. And we can adjust our time range and even adjust the number of rows returned if we want to, just by slightly adjusting our query. So if you're familiar with Kusto, these log queries might look very familiar, and that's because they should. They use the same KQL language as Kusto, which means there is a wealth of knowledge from Microsoft on troubleshooting any log queries as they use this well-established KQL language. So next up, we can create an alert rule using this same log query. Let's assume that we've played around with log queries for a little bit and we found something we really like, something really important, and we need to share this data anytime the log query returns at least one row of data. This is where alert rules are really helpful, and we can make one using this query just by clicking right here. Notice it pre-populates and pre-fills everything for us. The only thing we need to say is we want it to be greater than or equal to 1 in this case. Now, what does this mean? This just means that we want this alert rule to fire anytime it returns at least one thing. So one error in this case. Next up, we can set some actions. Now, we're not going to go over this in this demo, but this is where you could forward off this data to an on-prem SOC for security concerns, application monitoring team to investigate performance concerns, or even a dev team that needs to investigate, application errors surfacing from the alert rule. So now let's switch over and take a look at App Insights. App Insights can also be reached from our app service itself. Just go down to Settings and select Application Insights. And then here, let's select our Application Insights resource. This brings us to our App Insights dashboard here and gives us a few key features. Now, App Insights lets you monitor your application active performance monitoring with active performance monitoring, which gives development teams the ability to monitor through testing into production by proactively understanding the current performance of the app and reactively understanding the app execution data. This can help determine causes of incidents during after-the-fact postmortems, for example. Now, App Insights gives us a few key features. Things like live metrics, highly granular performance monitoring, and GitHub or Azure DevOps integration to seamlessly integrate into work items and enterprise CI/CD. So let's take a look at performance first. Now, performance tells us exactly what's going on in our application. We can see all our app operations, and we can even see, if we switch to dependencies here, we can even see database actions. Notice, if I were to select one of these and then drill into it, one of my database actions or database transactions, and drill into this transaction, we can see exactly the SQL query that caused this log. This can be super helpful for troubleshooting. Switching back to operations, you can just see a general map of all of your get and post requests, for example. Now, live application metrics are also available on the Live Metrics blade. This one might be really helpful to get an idea of your current status of your app at any given time, especially under periods of high load or any major issues that may be occurring. You'll likely see it right here. So, Application Insights just makes it easy to monitor your app at every stage. Development, release, maintenance, and modification with support for all available Java stacks on App Service, including Tomcat, Java SE, and JBOSS EAP. So, where do we go from here? Using Logstream, Log Analytics, and App Insights, developers can effectively monitor and respond to issues in real time on any App Service application, all the way from testing and into production. For more information, you can take a look at this page right here, which is reachable by aka.ms/appservice/monitor. App Service makes it easy to deploy and scale highly available enterprise-grade code or container apps without having to worry about infrastructure. And with Azure Monitor, Log Analytics, and App Insights, monitoring your application on Azure App Service is easy and seamless.